Hi guys, this video is going to give you some helpful information to keep you on the right path with scale factor, area, and perimeter. So you're getting there. Here are some helpful tips and practice problems to ensure success on your test. So we're taking our test next week. We're taking a quiz on Thursday, and this will help you make sure you're on the right track. Okay, so we're going to start with scale factor. And at any point in time, if you need to stop, pause, rewind the video to listen to something, I strongly suggest that. Okay, so scale factor. So if you remember, scale factor is how much we enlarge or reduce a shape by. So if you take a side from the image and divide it by the corresponding side of the original, you found the scale factor. You want to make sure you use corresponding sides. We call this comparing apples to apples. When somebody says you're comparing apples to oranges, it means you're comparing two things that don't go together. But if you notice, my two long side lengths are both blue. That's like apples to apples. So when we compare the short side on the new image to the short side on the original, or the long side on the new image to the long side on the original, that's what we want to make sure that we're doing. Okay, so here's an example. So we've got our original and we've got our image, and it definitely looks like it's getting bigger. So this says we're going to start with the long sides. Again, remember we do image divided by original. So this has new here, but this just means image. So you're going to punch these into your calculator, or if you know this fact in your head, you don't need to use your calculator. But we're going to do image, which is 25, divided by original, which is 5. So 25 divided by 5. Hopefully you have an answer flying into your head right now. And hopefully that answer is 5. Your scale factor is 5. 25 divided by 5, my image divided by original, should give me 5. Okay, now would it have worked if we had done it with the short sides? Well, let's look. Image divided by original, 15 divided by 3. Looks like it worked. So either way, if you're doing this, the long side to long side or short side to short side, as long as you do image divided by original, you're fine. So the scale factor is 5. What does that mean? That means that the new image is 5 times as big as the original figure, so it enlarged. Remember, if my scale factor is greater than 1, that means my shape is getting bigger. Okay, now I want you to try. So scale factor is image divided by original. So it doesn't matter to me if you use the long side or the short side. Either way, image divided by original. I'll give you a second to punch that into your calculator. And hopefully you got 6. So 48 divided by 8 is 6, and 18 divided by 3 is 6. Remember when we talked about what makes figures similar? Corresponding sides have the same scale factor. So these guys were 6, and these guys were 6. If you missed it, here it is for you again. Image divided by original. Either way would have worked. There's the short sides. Same answer. Okay, now we're going to take a look at missing sides. So if we think about the corresponding side, if you take the corresponding side to the missing side, the side you don't know, and multiply it to the scale factor, then you should be able to find your missing side. That sounds like a lot of words. Let's look at an example. So here, we knew that our scale factor was 5. So we did 25 divided by 5, and that gave us 5. Now we're going to, whoops, I gave it away, but hopefully you knew that. Now we're going to take that scale factor and multiply it times the corresponding side that we know. So our scale factor was 5, and I'm trying to find this guy here, and this 2 is what corresponds to him. So 2 times 5 gives me 10. Look at that. Okay, here's another example. So let's find the missing side on this one. So my image and my original, it looks like we're getting smaller. So we know if we're getting smaller, our number needs to be between 1 and 0. So you might have looked at this and said, oh, it's 7 times bigger because this 9 times 7 is 63, but this is my original. So remember, when we go from big to small, we take that number and we put it in the denominator. So it's not 7, it's 1/7. That's my scale factor from here to here. This is 1/7. Now that I know that's my scale factor, now I'm going to multiply this 42 times 1/7, which is kind of like dividing it by 7, to get my missing side length. So let's take a look. So my image divided by my original, 9 divided by 63, gives me 1/7, and 42 times 1/7 is 6. So if you are using your calculator on this one, you would do 42 times 1 divided by 7. So I think you have scale factor and missing side lengths down. So now let's take a look at perimeter and area problems. Remember, perimeter is just side lengths. So we do the same thing that we do to find side lengths. We take the original and we multiply it by the scale factor. So in this case, this perimeter, so we would do 35 plus 35, which everyone should be doing that in their calculator, and that gives you 70. Actually, what we should do is 63 plus 35, and then multiply that times 2, because remember, we have 63 plus 35 and then 2 more of those over here. So I got 196. Hopefully you got 196 as well. Now remember, my scale factor is 1/7. So I want to multiply that times 1/7. So I'm going to take that answer and I'm going to multiply it by 1 and then divide it by 7. So we add up all those sides, like I said, and then we multiply it by 1/7, and hopefully you got 28 for your new perimeter. Okay, now to find the area. Remember we talked about area when we use the scale factor, it gets bigger, it gets wider and taller. It gets bigger or smaller in 2 directions. So we have to square our scale factor. So original area times my scale factor squared gives me my image area. So here, my scale factor is 5. My original image is 15. So I want to square my scale factor. Remember, this means the scale factor times itself, not the scale factor times 2. Remember, area is the space that a shape covers. So my original area is 15. And then when I put 15 times my scale factor squared, I should get 375. Hopefully that's what you got. So now what you're going to do is you're going to go to the link in Classroom for cold. You're going to go ahead and you're going to do the practice problems, and then you're going to come see your teacher to get your problems checked to make sure that you are on the right track. If at any point in time you get stuck on a skill, please pull this video up and listen to it. It is fine if you listen to this video multiple times. Good luck.